Hello and welcome to Dice Jesters. My name is Julie.
And my name is Dave.
And today David will be showing me how to play Sagrada. Did I say it right this time?
You did say it right.
Perfect. So if you want to hand me the box.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Alright, so some first impressions. Okay. Love the stained glass. That's so cute. And because glass is transparent and I see dice on it, if the dice aren't transparent as well, I'm going to be pretty sad.
Highly disappointed.
I will be highly disappointed. So, while I'm opening this, why did you choose Sagrada?
So, I chose Sagrada because you loved Azul a lot. And this is a game that commonly gets associated with Azul as being a similar game. Like, if you like Azul, you like this game. So I thought since we had so much fun with Azul, that we would try this one. And I've honestly only played this game a couple of times. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to trying it more myself and seeing what kind of depth this game has to offer.
Okay, cool. Right. I was just about to ask you what these smaller cards are for, and then I remembered that I can't ask you. I have to go based off appearance.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 4 little coins that say 50, and then have a colored dice on it. Then we have these weird cards. Put those there. Then we have this cool thing that kind of looks like a paint palette. Now we have the board pieces. Oh, there's more. Okay. Alright. There we go. And then I think you'll be happy to know that I'm not going to throw the dice out the window because they are transparent. So I like when they look like candy.
Can you juggle the dice, though? That's the question.
They're kind of small. Okay, let's see. So there is 4 different cathedral-esque looking. So I'm guessing these are game boards and we get to pick what color we are.
Mm-hmm.
And then these clear things. I'm guessing they go in the 3 holes that are provided. And then the dice fills out the item. And it looks like this is the playing mat. These little things here that have different colors, so maybe you pick these at random.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know what this tan one is. I'm guessing this is how you play them. I guess. And then the paint palette looking item is definitely the point tracker.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what those cards are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't understand what the other cards are.
Do you have a general idea for like what we'll be doing in this game, though?
Based off of the cards that I said look like the template cards, I'm guessing you fill out the template.
Yeah, with the dice, maybe.
Oh yeah, of course. Are you leading me?
I don't know. Maybe.
So yeah, and then you just put the little dice into here. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, you've got a lot of that right. And, this is a game with a lot of these. I love these dice. It has a bag full of dice, because you know how much I love dice.
Okay.
The idea of this game is that we are building stained glass in a cathedral, in the Sagrada Familia Cathedral in Barcelona. And we'll each have our own little card that will slip into the cathedral that looks different, that has different number and color configurations. But the idea is that we'll be taking turns selecting from a pool of dice and putting those onto the stained glass to create that.
It's not like Yahtzee where I roll my own and then do it. It's one roll and we pick from that roll. Yeah,
because in a 2-player game, there'll be 5 dice that we roll for each round. Okay. And then we'll take turns selecting one of those 5. We'll go back and forth. And when it gets placed onto your stained glass, there are placement rules that are kind of like Sudoku, where it can't be right next to a dice of the same color or the same numeric value. So when you take a die that has a number 4 on it, you have to take it as a 4. You can't change the dice, and then you put it directly onto your cathedral next to one that's on there, but using the placement rules. And at the end of the game, you're going to get your points deducted for any open space on your stained glass. Okay. But the cool thing about this game that I love is that there are secret scoring objectives as well. So you'll have your own thing that you're trying to work toward, that I won't know what you're doing and you won't know what I'm doing, but I suspect that if we play this game, we'll be able to try and guess what the other person's going for and maybe do a little bit of strategic blocking on the other person.
Okay.
Keep them from their objective. And there's also public objectives too. So this is a game, I think, a little bit dissimilar to Azul, which is kind of the same every single time. This game will have some variables set up in the beginning that will make each game be a little bit different. So we'll see if that's a good thing or a neutral or a bad thing.
Okay.
But that is the idea of the game. And if you want to know the backstory.
Yes, I would love to know the backstory.
I know you're all about the journey.
It's from the Cathedral Church, or what did you say?
Yeah, the Sagrada Familia Cathedral in Barcelona.
Yeah, so is this one going to say if you've been to Barcelona before?
Oh, we'll get to that.
Oh,
see.
okay.
It says, you are an artist competing with fellow artists to create the most beautiful stained glass window in the Sagrada Familia. Your glass pieces are represented by dice, which have a color and a shade indicated by the values on the dice. The lower the value, the lighter the shade. Each round, players will take turns drafting from a pool of dice, placing these dice on their window. Players must place them within the color and shade restrictions on their window card and never have adjacent dice of the same color and value. After 10 rounds, players score points based on public and private objectives. The highest scoring artisan is the winner.
Okay.
It's kind of, it kind of explained the game in a nutshell, too.
Yeah.
But,
and who's the first player?
Yeah, so it says that we randomly select, but it also says that a common thing for people to do is whoever most recently visited a cathedral gets to go first. And I can't remember the last time I was physically in a cathedral.
I was in one. I was in one before I moved here.
Like, that was your whole
I would
life
say,
before you moved here?
I would say 2019.
Okay.
Because when I went to the Philippines, we go visit them.
Yeah.
I know 2019 for sure. I'm sure that I had been at least one more time after that.
Okay. That is probably more recent than the last time I was in the cathedral. So I think you'll be the starting player in this game.
Okay.
My big question, Julie, is did you come prepared with drinks that we'll be pairing with this game today?
I did. So, naturally, you had told me the name. And the name is Sagrada.
Uh-huh.
Sagrada.
Okay.
Sounds like sangria. Sangria.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I didn't make us sangrias.
Oh, okay.
But I made us these. All right.
What a roller coaster that was.
So here you go.
What is this?
Yeah. Look at that.
Well, you didn't answer my question what it is.
Oh. So what I had in my fridge.
Yeah.
So I had red wine. I had original Ramoon soda.
Okay.
And then to make it a little fancy, I put cinnamon and sugar on top.
It smells very fancy.
It smells great. I'll taste it with you.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how it tastes either. I didn't do a taste test. I just kind of was like, I'm sure it'll taste close to a sangria.
Yeah. So that was the reason you paired, is because the name was similar.
Yeah.
I think also like the color red. There's some red in this game. It's a very colorful game. So I think this is the perfect pairing. I can already tell.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, that makes me happy. For basing the drink solely off of the name, I think I did well. Okay?
I think you did. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for you.
Thank you. I don't know about 10 out of 10 for taste, but we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Are you ready then for our first game?
Yeah, I can definitely teach it to you. And why don't we do that? We'll come back and talk about what we thought. All right, so we are back after playing one round of Sagrada.
Yes, we are.
And I can't wait to talk about your just general first impressions of this game.
Okay, but before we get into first impressions, you said you liked my drink.
I did like it. It's delightful.
Yeah.
It tastes like cinnamon, a little bit of sweet wine. This is good.
To me, it tasted like an apple cider-esque, even though there's no apple cider in it.
It almost tastes like a holiday drink.
Yeah,
you know they do like the hot wine with cinnamon? Like, it kind of tasted like that.
That's
but
how
cold.
I felt. Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming prepared with these great beverages.
Of course. I just wanted to talk about it because, it's straight out of my fridge. So. Yeah. But for the game, though, I liked it. I liked it was really pretty. I liked that it was kind of a challenge. I do feel that it's not as strategic as Azul and Dominion. It's more so a game based off of luck.
Oh, how so?
Because everything's based off of your dice roll. So, whatever these cards are, these insert cards, we pick those. Mm-hmm. So those are all at random. And then these multiplier cards. What do you call these?
Yeah, these private objective cards.
Yeah, and the private objective cards, we pick all that at random. Then the gameplay cards, on how you get points or how you can spend. What are these ones?
The favor tokens.
The favor tokens, those are all at random. And the dice themselves are at random. While with Azul, you know how many pieces are in the game. And if you see that lots of the blue snowflake ones are out, it's less likely that that's going to be pulled from the board. Well, yes, you could say the same for the colors for this game, but you're never going to know what color that is. So yeah, sure, it might be a purple that you need, and there's a purple in the shuffle with the rolled die, but let's say you needed a 5 to go there and it's a 4. Now it doesn't matter. That dice is basically obsolete.
Yeah, that's true. And when you said it was more luck-based than strategic, my first thought was, well, yeah, you're rolling dice at the beginning of the round, but we both have access to the same dice. It's not like you're rolling the dice on your every turn and then using what you roll to have to place it somewhere. So I thought of it more as strategic just due to the sense that there are these scoring objectives. So from the beginning, like we had one scoring objective that said you got 5 points for having a row with different numbered dice. Like no die value can repeat itself in that row. And so it was my goal from the beginning of the game to try to get that done. That was my strategy. But you make a good point that there's a bag of 90 dice that come in this game, and not every die is going to come out throughout the course of the game. So you may have a bunch of one color that doesn't come out as much as the others, but you also have the second layer of luck, and that's how the dice are rolled. And like, yes, we both have access to the same dice, but you could have a scoring objective that wants 3 sets of 3s and 4s, and maybe like there's no 3s or 4s that get rolled, or you just have one spot on your board that you can't fill in because the dice keep getting rolled the wrong way. So
yeah, like you needed this purple, and I also needed this purple, and I could do any color purple, and any numbered purple, and you could take on any numbered purple too. So for that, it's whoever just gets to go first. Well, if it was a 5, and both of us needed a 5, it would then depend on what colors we had initially put around the 5.
Yeah.
And then who could grab it first. Yeah,
definitely. I agree as well that the look of the game is really cool. What you said about just the different colored dice and stuff I really love. What did you think about the variable setup? The sense that there are different objectives that come out each game. Do you like that, or do you prefer it to be the same? I know I've kind of asked you that question in the past, but how do you feel as it pertains to this game and the randomness of setup?
Well, it's kind of just like Dominion with how I enjoy the randomness of that. So I like the randomness of this. This one just feels different. Like, it really, to me, feels like a lot of luck. Like, I could sit here and come up with a plan, but it doesn't matter, because it all just depends on what's coming out of the roll. Yeah. So I don't feel as if it's a strategic or a different game. It's more so the same game with different point multipliers. Yeah,
true. And I do think there are ways to mitigate the luck with these favorite cards, but these are random. And the ones that we had for this game, I feel like they let you move dice around, but that in itself was almost a brain-burning puzzle to try to figure out how to use that in a way to move things around and still have the rules apply it, because they still can't be next to a die or of the same color or number. Right. So it was almost like neither of us used the favorite cards because I couldn't figure out a way to use it in a way that benefited me. And there could be different favorite cards in the game that do a better job of letting you change the dice values and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see that. But yeah.
Is that you asking to do a 10 by 10?
Yeah. What do you think? Should we do a 10 by 10 to look at what kinds of cards can come out, and if we continue thinking that this is less of a strategic game? What do you think?
Yeah, I'd be willing to play this game 10 more times.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think this game is like easy. Again, it's like that easy to teach, but there are the puzzle aspect. It can really hurt your brain. So
yeah, the counting on this, like counting at the end for points, is a lot easier too.
Yeah,
I understood the counting right away. Well, in other games, I don't know why, but when we played Dominion and we did the counting, I was just like, why aren't we counting the coins? So it's just kind of that item.
Yeah.
But did you want to rate it, David?
Yeah.
You always ask me, so.
I would say for me, this game's like a solid, I would say like 4 out of 5 meeple is about where I'd rate it.
Okay. That was my rating too.
Yeah, because I think some of the points that you made are valid, and it gets a lot of points for just the look of the game and how fast it is. Like 10 rounds go really fast with 2 players.
Yeah.
There's a lot I love, and the puzzle I really enjoyed. I think it has the right amount of player interaction for the kind of puzzle it is, where I could see what you needed and grab that die that maybe you were looking for. So there's a little bit of that as well. A lot of fun. I would say 4 out of 5. How about you, Julie?
Yeah, I would say 4 out of 5, just because I like strategic games. And as I said when we first started this conversation, it feels like luck. Mm-hmm. But that is my first impression, though. We'll see how I feel about it after 10.
Yeah, well, why don't we go take the journey of Sagrada?
Yeah, why don't we just dive right in?
We'll dive right in. And we'll come back after about 10 plays, and we'll talk about how we feel about the game at that point in time.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Awesome. Alright, so we are back after taking this 10x10 journey of Sagrada. And Julie.
Yes.
Who won this challenge?
You did.
I won this challenge, yeah.
Yeah.
By 2. So I won 6 games and you won 4.
Yes.
And I just want to know what you thought about this game. Did you enjoy it? After 10 plays. Let's talk about it.
After 10 plays, honestly, if we weren't doing the 10x10 and you said, hey, I'm good after 5.
Yeah.
I would say okay.
But you felt the need to continue on because we had set this goal of playing it 10 times.
Yeah, I did. I don't know. It's pretty. It's really pretty. Mm-hmm. But it's not my type of game just because I need more of a strategic aspect. Like, you could tell that I kind of was getting bored of it because I would roll the dice one at a time, and then when there was a number I wanted or something like that, I saw the color come out of my hand and I was like, oh nice, and then I would hit it to then get the number I needed.
Which it never specifies in the rulebook that you can't do that. It was this kind of you finding this aspect, this aspect of playing that is technically not breaking the rules, but also something I've never seen before, of like throwing a die in like one at a time into the dice tray and then like, okay, I don't like that one, I'm gonna try and knock it with this other die. Like, nothing says that you can't do that, and I feel like that's just gonna be our thing from now on. No matter what we're playing for this dice, we'll try to do that. It's kind of fun. But we can talk more about like general thoughts, but like the components that you were saying, I agree. It's a really pretty looking game. The only thing like that, I feel like the cards were a little bit thin and flimsy for my taste.
Yeah.
But the bag of dice was really cool, like the different colors, the translucent dice.
Yeah.
Putting them onto that cathedral stained glass piece, it just looks really good on the table, I think.
Right, yeah, I believe that too. I feel like it's really pretty. It has lots of different colors. It's really appealing that way.
Yeah.
But play-wise, I don't know, it's just not for me. Like,
yeah.
The scoring kind of started to bother me after a while, just because it was always different for every game. So if you learned those 3 cards on how to score, and then the next game you had to relearn them, and then I don't know why, but in my mind, for the color for your private scoring card, I thought it was if you collect the most colors, which is semi-true, but it's more so you want to get your color to be a higher number. So you want to get all 6s of that color. It's not, just collect them because it's your color and they're all 1s. It's collect them because they're also high numbers.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the assessment of the scoring objective was changing. But I do like variability in the games where each game you can go for something a little bit different. Mm-hmm. But when it came to the scoring objectives, the 3 that are randomized for everybody, and then the private ones, I almost feel like that was too many things to keep track of for what this game is. Because some of them would give you points for having sets of like 1 through 6, and then some would be sets of 2 and 3, or rows of all different colors, or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. I feel like each game I focused on like one of those, and then the other 2, I didn't even know how many 3s or 4s I had. Yeah. And then at the end of the game, it's, I just happened to have more than you, but I wasn't like strategically going for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then having the private one, it just has a little bit too many layers to like really, if you're going to be strategic, it's too much to keep track of.
Yeah, I did have to keep looking at my private one because I would forget. And same with you, I would focus on, so if one was like, keep all the different colors, but then we happened to get the row and column that had to be different colors, I would only pay attention to one of them and then forget about the other. The card that I really enjoyed was the diagonal colors, because that one is easier, because sure, you can have 3, well, technically you couldn't have 3, but you could have 2 of the same color in a row.
Yeah.
And it would count towards points. It wouldn't mess you up in any way. But I do, as you said, I like dynamics of games where the dynamic changes. I think it's the scoring that I don't like changing.
Yeah, and I think, and we could talk about like replayability, because I think this fits into it. The game also, you set out 3 different cards that allow you to manipulate your board in certain ways. If maybe you don't like the die roll, or you're trying to move things around, and you have, depending on the complexity of the card that you chose, you get a certain number of these tokens that you can use in order to use those additional abilities on your turn. But I found that some of them were useful, like the re-rolling, because I was looking for a certain color, but the ones that let you move things around, to me, were almost too difficult to use, because I would not even look to using those until I was kind of locked into a certain spot and I couldn't use a die. By that point, it was like too much for my brain to figure out how to use in a useful way that would help me out. So I just ignored those. So like our last game, if you noticed, there was one card that let you re-rolled. You and I used pretty much all of those tokens on that one card, but neither of us used the other one. So the variability is cool that there are different ones, but like some of them are really good, and then some of them I'd never even used. So it just, each game was a wash for me.
Yeah, and then with the whole moving thing, some of the cards said that you could move a color onto the incorrect color.
Yeah.
But then that gets confusing, because sometimes you accidentally put something down, or you get further into the game and then you're looking at your scoreboard and you're trying to figure out how to plan out your dice.
Yeah.
And you see that and you're like, wait, why did I do this? This is wrong. Or the other person's like, why is that there? Because we completely forgot that that individual used a color move thing. Mm-hmm. So it's a really cute game. It is. That's my conclusion. It's a cute game.
Do you feel like after playing it 10 times that any there's like a lot of variability to the set, but did you feel like each game felt different? Like I felt almost like it was like the exact same game, no matter what cards were out. It was kind of the same experience every single time.
I do feel like it was the exact same game and experience, but I also feel that way because you and I have the same playing style. For this game at least, not for all games, but specifically for this game, where we were just trying to keep it simple and score points, so we didn't use all of the action cards to move stuff around. And I feel that there are some other people who may use all of the action cards, so playing the game with that individual might be different. Yeah. But otherwise, it felt as if we were playing the same game and scoring was just different.
I'm glad you mentioned the fact that some players might use all of those and be really thoughtful and strategic. But I think what confuses me, or maybe my issue with the game, is I feel like it is meant to be at the same level as a game like Azul. You can break out and teach to anybody. But I think that it has too many complexity layers of the scoring, the secret stuff, the special use cards, that I wouldn't bring this game out if I were to sit down with my mom or a family member and try to teach. Like, this would not be my first pick. It would be like really far down my list, because it's like, it's a really light game, but it's too complex.
It's too complex, yeah. Yeah, I can see that, because especially if you're just trying to show somebody who doesn't game. So, for example, me, I'm not that tenured, or whatever you want to call it, into game boards. Yeah. And you're showing me it for the first time, and I had so many questions, and usually I don't have that many questions, but I was just like, wait, why are we counting these? Why is this counted? Oh, I didn't even collect that. Yeah. Why do I have to collect that? Or, wait, what are these for? Okay, but why is that 1 token now and 2 tokens later? Yeah. But then how come it's not 3 tokens? Why is it just continuously 2 tokens? I don't know. There was so many things that I had so many questions about, so...
That's true. I think that it took maybe a few plays to feel like you were actually playing the whole game, right? Even though there's not that many complex rules. There's just too many things that you don't think of paying attention to. Yeah, and the whole count... So when it said shades, I was so confused, because I didn't realize that the numbers were the shades. It just means numbers.
Yeah, it just means numbers. Say numbers.
Makes it so complicated.
So it confused me, because when I was just reading the cards, in my mind, I really felt that I had to continuously grab quote-unquote shades.
Yeah.
But no, the shade, you can have a red and a blue, and it could be a 1 and 2, and those count as light shades. And then you can have a red and a blue, and it could be a 6 and a 5, and those are dark shades. And I was like, what?
Yeah. That's so true. That was, I don't know why they used that wording. It was kind of confusing.
Yeah, it was very confusing.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit, you mentioned the fact that this game was too luck heavy for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, you said in the beginning after our first play, you said there's too much luck in this game.
Mm-hmm.
After 10 plays, how do you feel about the luck versus strategy? Do you still feel like it's a wildly too lucky of a game for what it is?
I feel like it's too lucky for a game, especially our last game.
Yeah.
There was a yellow 5, and I needed that. I needed the yellow 5.
Yeah.
But you grabbed it.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, cool. And then with how you take it out of the bag, let's say that your card's red or whatever, and my card's yellow, but every single roll, it wasn't yellow. It was red, purple, green.
Yeah.
So then I can't do anything. Like, I can't score on my private cards because every die that we get out of the bag isn't my color.
Yeah.
Like, I literally think you, in our last round, had 1 yellow on your board.
Yeah.
But that's what, so...
It just was the luck of what you drew out of the bag, what was rolled.
And there's more dice than the rounds. With Azul, you cycle through all of them.
Yeah, so you know exactly it's going to come out at a certain point. But you can play, I don't know how many of each dice are in the bag, but you could play most of the game. Let's say you have like red as your secret scoring objective, and there are barely any reds that come out. That's possible. And also if you choose one of those more complex cards where there's like more spaces filled in, like, you could really lock yourself in pretty quick. And the special ability cards, while they're nice, there might be a game where there's nothing, or what am I trying to... I'm trying to say that there's nothing inherently built into the game that lets you manipulate things or switch dice out to grab different ones from the bag and choose a different color, something to mitigate that luck. Like, some of the cards are helpful, but there's nothing like each game that's consistently going to help you if you get locked into a corner.
Right, and that's how I felt, especially because I was looking for a yellow that last game. No, sorry, I was looking for a red. I needed 1 red for my square because it could only take a red. And then a red finally comes out, and it's a 5. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I can't put a 5 down there. Mm-hmm. So that's neat.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it was like, I noticed it in the beginning that, there is a lot of luck in this game. But I think it became more and more apparent as we went further and further down this 10x10. By the time I got to the end, it was just almost a frustrating experience of not getting what I needed and feeling like I want this to be a strategic game, but it's hard for me to strategize. And I love games with luck built into it. There's some that I'm really excited to show you that use luck in a really smart way. And you can strategically decide how you want to make a move based on knowing the randomness or the luck component, like what are the odds of rolling this number, and you kind of strategize based on knowing that luck in mind, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense, because when we went to that games shop, they had to roll 6 die.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I was doing the math. I was like, if it's a 6-sided die, then I have this chance, and then I took the chance.
Yeah, and all the games I love that have luck into it have built into it have some kind of luck mitigating factor that where no matter what happens, you're not locked out of a turn. There's stuff that you can do to help you, which is cool. But this game just felt like the luck is the kind of luck that I don't like. So
yeah, because it's just more centered around that.
Exactly.
You can't really manipulate it, as you had said. So
yeah,
I agree.
I know that you love games now that have like a lot of player interaction. Like in Azul, you loved hosing me by leaving me with the client that would follow my floor and give me much negative points. How did you feel about the interaction in this game between us? Did it matter paying attention to what I was doing or vice versa? Did you feel like there was anything going on there?
No, because there had been so many times when you thought it was your turn and you almost tried to grab a dice, and then I had grabbed that die and then you just grabbed a different one. I was like, oh, okay. Okay, so I didn't even need this one. I was just trying to screw you over.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because you grabbed a different one.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like that's really an aspect. I feel like it's more so a solo game that you play with friends.
I think so too, and that's why I don't think it matters like the player count. I think it plays with 2 to 4. I don't know that I would notice a difference at any. In fact, I think like lower, like what we're doing 2 players, probably my preferred count in this game, because I would feel annoyed waiting so long for my turn to come back around. I just want to play. So yeah, I agree. Like, it's mainly a solo game. I almost never paid attention to what you're doing. I never tried to guess what secret color you were going after, and I just was doing my own thing. And if you got upset because I took a die, it's not because I was trying to do anything to you. It just is what I drew. So
does it say 1 to 4 on it, or what does it say?
Let's see, 1 to 4. So there is a solo mode as well, which could be the exact same as what we were doing, honestly.
Yeah.
So overall, Julie, so you rated it. What did you rate it? Your meeple score.
A 4.
And what do you rate it now?
I don't like that because I don't like giving anything under a 4. It makes me feel bad.
Well, don't feel bad.
No, it makes me feel bad because, you know, I had an Etsy shop where I made stickers and stuff, and I was always so worried if somebody gave me under a 4, you know?
Yeah.
But, let me think. I really have to think about it. Well, I feel comfortable saying 3.8.
3.8, okay.
Because I don't feel like it's a 4. I would give it lower, but I feel bad giving it a lower score.
We'll look at it this way. Like a 3 out of 5 is the same as a 6 out of 10. I feel like a 6 out of 10 isn't a terrible rating.
How's a 3 out of 5 the same as a 6 out of 10?
Because 5 times 2 is 10, and 3 times 2 is 6.
Is that how you do your scoring?
Well, so Board Game Geek is this database with all the board games, and people can rate games on there and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's out of 10. So it's common for people to say, I give this an 8 out of 10, or 6 out of 10. But it's the same to me. I think, like, whether you do a 5 rating or out of 10.
But wouldn't a 3 be equivalent to a 5?
3 would be,
because 3's half. 3's, like, right in the middle. Because it's 1 out of 5.
Because this isn't a math podcast.
It is to me.
Everything's a math.
Everything's math to me.
So you're saying 3.8 out of 5?
Sure, I'm going to say 3.8 because I don't want to give any lower than that.
I'm going to say 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable giving it that rating. Like, and that's not a bad game. Like, I base it off of how excited am I to play this. And this would be, like, in the middle for me. Mm-hmm. If somebody really wanted to play Sagrada, I would play it with them.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the first game I'm going to go running for off of a shelf at a board game cafe or something like that. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the first game I'm excited to show to new people who've never played a game. So that's kind of where I'm at, 3.5.
Okay. Yeah, that works. That works for me. I also agree that it's a 3.5, but I'm just going to say 3.8 because that's what I said. But I feel the same exact way. If somebody said, hey, you want to play this? I would just say, no, let's play Azul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's, like, we can talk about, a lot of people compare Azul to Sagrada. So you're saying, hands down, Azul is your game over this one.
Yeah.
Like, so many reasons. For me, it's
more strategic. I can come at you.
Yeah.
Like, it's more of a 2-player game. Well,
I think so.
Sagrada is a 1-player game.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to for me, kind of like you said, is the player interaction in Azul. I have to pay attention to what you're doing, and I have to think several moves ahead in order to not get all of those tiles that will give me negative points. The color that I don't need. Like, this game didn't have anything like that, so it wasn't as exciting to play.
Yeah, it wasn't exciting. I like to defeat you.
Yes, you do. Like it's a very dark side to you.
This game we just danced. Like, it was always 1 or 2.
It was a decent dance.
No, I don't need to tango with you. I need to destroy you.
Wow. Well, we'll a lot to unpack there. So, Julia, the big question is...
Yes, Dave.
Are we going to keep it to play, or are we going to give it away?
I was going to be like, we should keep it because of... I don't know, I'm weird. But, you know, I really don't think that it would be a game that I would go to. So, honestly, I would say give it away.
Give it away. I think...
You mean...
Trade it away. Trade it away. We're going to trade it away. Because I agree. For me, it's trade away because we have Azul. Yeah. And this is just going to sit on our shelf. We're probably not going to play it.
I know.
And that's okay. I mean, okay, I got it on my birthday. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I got it on your birthday for you.
Yeah. But, you know, if we're like, we want every game on our shelf to be one that we're excited when we're asking what we want to play. You and I are fighting for, like, no, I want to play this one, I want to play that one. This isn't going to be one of those games that we fight over. So, we will trade it away. But I still had fun playing this with you. Of course, we had some fun moments. But thank you so much, Julie, for taking that journey with me. And thank you so much for listening. That is all we have for you this week. We would love to hear from you. So if you'd like to, please reach out to us at thedicejesters@gmail.com. Or on Instagram, you can find us at dicejesters. Be sure to join us next time for our next in-depth look at a game. Until then, play all the games with the ones you love.